Up until last week, I had an awful schedule at my job, working the hours of 8 p.m. through 3 a.m. It'd be around 3:30 in the morning when I arrive home after work. I normally take a shower, have a light snack, then go to bed after watching a few videos on YouTube. I had to keep that schedule for about 3 months, and what I'm about to tell you happened during that period. I've been living in the same apartment for about 3 years now. It's located in a nice neighborhood, and nothing much happens around here. On the third or fourth night after I began working the awful schedule, I came home and began snacking right away because I was hungry. About half an hour later, as I'm watching a video, I heard someone knock on the door, and that scared me a little because the time was so late. I walked to the door, then looked through the people, but no one was there. I thought it was weird since most people ring the bell instead of knocking. In fact, in the 3 years that I lived there, no one had ever knocked on the door. They all used the bell. Anyhow, I went to bed not long after, and nothing else happened on that night. Unfortunately though, the same thing happened again the next night. Someone knocked on the door around 4 in the morning, but by the time I went to check who it was, the person who knocked on the door was no longer there. The knocking continued for over 10 days, and I was definitely concerned for my safety by then. So this one night, I asked my brother to help me catch the habitual door knocker, and hence he was sleeping at my place when I got home after work. I woke him up as soon as I was home. We dragged 2 chairs right in front of the door, then waited for the door knocker to do his thing. Some half an hour later, a few minutes past 4 a.m., someone knocks on the door. My brother bolts up right away, then opens the door without even checking through the people. He steps outside and says, "Hey Rachel, there's no one out here." I follow him out, and sure enough, the hallway is empty. This was not possible. We are on the 3rd floor, and my unit is situated in the middle of the building. There's about 10 yards of distance from my door to the staircase. For the elevator, you actually have to walk a bit more. From the time that the bell rang and my brother opening the door, there was no way that anyone could cover the distance of 10 yards. No one is that fast, and not to mention that we would have heard the footsteps of a person running. My brother stayed at my place for an extra week because I was too scared to stay alone in the house. The door knocker didn't come back after the night, but I still have no clue who it could have been. Then again, maybe the question should be what and not whom. I was once hospitalized when I was a kid. I was 9 years old at the time and was hit by a car in front of a shopping mall. With 2 broken ribs and a hairline fracture on the elbow, I remember I had to stay at the hospital for about 10 days. So after the 10 days were up, I was cleared to go home by the doctor, and Mom was gathering my things in the room to take me home. Sometime later, a hospital staff put me on a wheelchair, and we were headed toward the elevator. We got inside the elevator once it arrived. We were on the 10th floor when we got in, and no one else was in the lift. Mom pressed the button for the ground floor, and the elevator began moving. Seconds later, we were stopped on the 7th floor, and the doors opened automatically. Mom poked her head out into the hallway to double-check that no one was there. Then she pressed the button to close the door, and we arrived on the ground floor soon after. As Mom was pushing me toward the parking lot, I asked her, "Mom, why was it so dark on the 7th floor? And why didn't those people get in the elevator?" She responded, "People? What people are you talking about? There was no one on that floor. Someone must have called a lift, then probably had to leave or something. Also, Sean, it wasn't dark. Wake up, sweetie." Mom smiled after she said that. Okay, now you know what she saw, but I'm about to tell you that I saw something different. What I saw on the 7th floor is a hallway that was dark. There were a bunch of people dressed in white, and they were all staring at us like they were seeing a ghost. The thing is, I think the opposite is true. I believe I was seeing people who passed away in the hospital. If I had to guess, I'd say they were spirits who couldn't cross over to wherever we're supposed to go after death. Basically, they were stuck in between the world of the living and the afterlife. It sounds ludicrous now that I talk about it as an adult, But I promise you, that is what I saw, and I'm certain that I didn't imagine any of that. I haven't encountered any other spirits since that time, and I'm happy for that because life has been good to me so far. Now, I just gotta hope that this isn't something that can be passed down to my children. I was at a local coffee shop the other day when a really cute looking guy came over to my table and tried to get my number. He was funny, friendly, and again, he was really cute. I ended up giving him my number, we went out on 2 dates, and that's how he became my boyfriend. The first time I stayed at his place was about a month into our relationship. He was nice, still funny, and it felt like we were building something special together. With that said, he wasn't perfect. By no means I'm saying that I'm somehow perfect, but what I mean to say is, he was nearly perfect, but there were still some things that bothered me a little. The biggest gripe I had about him was this ritual that he had on his ex-girlfriends. He had photos of 12 of his ex-girlfriends on the walls of his bedroom. I found it to be really creepy at first, but he explained to me that he does that to remind him to appreciate everyone that has touched his life in special ways. Looking back, even with that explanation, I should have still found the ritual creepy as hell. Unfortunately, I think I was too infatuated with him to feel that way. I let it slide with that simple explanation and didn't question him on that subject again. That is until one day, when we were making love, I could have sworn I saw him looking at one of the photos and smile. I pushed him off me and said, "Are you kidding me? Did you just smile at one of your ex?" Ryan responded, "No, definitely not. Emma, that didn't happen. I promise you." Ryan proceeded to take the photos down and swore to me that he would never disrespect me like that. Once again, I fell for his charm and let it slide without much trouble. The next night, I fell asleep around 9 p.m., much earlier than usual because I was exhausted after a long day at the office. I woke up sometime later that night from the urge to go to the restroom. Only I didn't. You see, when I woke up, I had my back against Ryan and thus, he didn't know that my eyes were open. The thing is, he was sniffing at my body and also talking to himself. He said, "Oh baby, you smell just like her." Then he licked my shoulder and said, "You taste like her too. I miss her so much, but I can never see her again. You'll have to do for now, and you're doing a great job, babe." He continued saying the creepiest things you can imagine and wouldn't stop talking until some half an hour later. I held my pee, pretended to be asleep, and desperately waited for morning to come. When the sun rose, I got up right away and said to Ryan that I had to give my mom a ride to the hospital. I put my clothes on as fast as I could, grabbed my bag in a hurry, but I tried to look as natural as I could. Thankfully, Ryan had no clue that I was trying to escape from his apartment. I gave him a quick kiss so he wouldn't think I was acting all weird. But once I was out of his apartment, I wiped my mouth with the sleeve of my shirt, then spat a few times to rid of his taste in my mouth. I called him later that night and told him that I didn't want to see him again. He asked why, and I simply told him that I wasn't attracted to him any longer. He called me a couple more times and tried to get me back. I didn't make a big fuss about it and would try to act as nonchalant as possible. I lied to him that I get bored of relationships very easily and that we were done for good. I suppose Ryan bought the lie since he hasn't bothered me after the last call. Now that I've explained to you what happened between me and Ryan, I want to take you back to the words he spoke to me on our last night. He said he missed her so much, but that he couldn't see her anymore. Would I be overreacting to the situation if I thought that Ryan may have done something terrible to his ex-girlfriends? Because I don't think I'm reaching when I say that he may have murdered them. The guy had photos of 12 of his ex-girlfriends hung on the wall. He spoke to himself while I was asleep as he sniffed and licked me. I would call the police right now if I had any proof of this psycho's past transgressions, but as you know, I've got nothing on him. I feel fortunate to have found out about his psychotic ways early in our relationship, but I fear for the next girl who will inevitably fall for his charm and handsomeness. 10 p.m. on a highway. I'm driving home after dropping off my girlfriend at her place. I'm doing 70 miles an hour on a 60 miles an hour zone. I normally have the music playing while driving, but tonight I'm not in the mood after a big fight with my girlfriend. I'm driving on an empty stretch of a highway when I hear some sounds that seem to be coming from the roof. It could be rain, but then it isn't, since the windshield looks clear and the road is dry as a bone. I continue driving, but then the noise from the roof doesn't let up. It's irritating not knowing what's making the noises. 10 minutes pass and the noise had only gotten worse. I pull the car over to the side of the road, then get out to inspect the roof. To my surprise, there's nothing. I then walk around the car because I could have sworn I heard something make contact with the ground as I got out of the car. I do a complete loop, then come back to the driver's side door. There's nothing near my car. I hop back into the car and continue driving. Then some 2 minutes thereafter, the noise from the roof comes back again, and I'm really freaked out by it this time. I speed up to 90 miles an hour, then brake check all the way down to 50, but nothing seems to be moving on the roof. I see an exit up ahead, and it's not the one that I take to go home, but I do know that it takes you to a Dunkin' Donuts that's open 24 hours. Right now, I just want to get to a place where there are people. I plan to take the exit, and as I merge onto the right lane, I see a dark face looking down from the roof onto the windshield. The face is upside down, it looks uglier than anything you can imagine, and this disgusting creature's smiling at me for some reason. I panic and, like an idiot, turn on the wiper blade and at the same time spray water at the creature. I then merge onto the exit, check the rearview mirror for cars behind, then brake hard at the decline in the middle of the exit ramp. The creature's thrown off the car, but it swiftly rolls onto the ground, and it seems like it hasn't taken any damage as it runs away at a blistering speed. I drive to Dunkin' Donuts and park my car in front of it. I see that there are people in the building, and that puts me at ease somewhat. I get out of the car to inspect for damage. I already saw that the hood got a round depression in the center from the contact with the creature. But other than that, there are no additional damages. After that, I went inside Dunkin', got a large coffee, and parked my butt one table away from a couple. I think I was there for about an hour to calm myself down. My hands were shaking from the shock, and my mind was busy trying to process what I'd just been through. As you might have guessed, I still haven't got a clue as to what the ugly creature could be. It could be an alien, a specimen from a secret government experiment that managed to escape, a mutant human. Who the hell really knows? I'm just glad that it didn't eat me or shred me to pieces. You know, you think you live in a perfectly normal world, then one day something like this happens and your preconceptions are blown to smithereens. You may think I'm crazy. You may think that I'm making this up, but I'll tell you this, be thankful that you are in a position to judge my sanity instead of yours. Hey guys, Dennis here. So YouTube has finally taken the last piece of tool that we YouTubers had under our control, which is the subscription feed. They no longer display the feed chronologically, but they curate it based on your previous watch behavior, whatever that is. Chances are, unless you follow my contents religiously, you'll likely have to visit my channel manually to find the new contents from now on. The view numbers have plummeted on channels like mine, and it looks like things are about to get worse. Look at it this way, I've gained 500 subscribers in the last 90 days, but my videos are still averaging 500 to 700 views per. New subs are always the most engaging subscribers in terms of views and watch time. If you've gained 500 subscribers in recent months, there's no way that your view doesn't increase unless that is, YouTube doesn't send out the notifications to most of your subscribers. This is why I tell you guys that the game is rigged. It doesn't matter that you invest huge amount of time and resources to make good content, it matters none that you gain new subscribers every single month. If YouTube doesn't promote your channel, or at the very least deliver your videos to all your subscribers, then you are fudged! Bottom line is, over 90% of all subscribers for all channels are casual viewers. They won't bother to search for my contents manually if they don't show up on their feed or recommended views. In fact, most of my viewers won't even bother to listen to this message. I'm basically talking to the small percentage of loyal viewers who already receive my contents on their feed because they followed my contents consistently. What can I say? It's truly demoralizing to see all of my hard work go down the drain like this. Imagine channels that have worked so hard to gain hundreds of thousands of subscribers only to get shafted by the algorithm changes. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I'm just gonna continue tweaking the contents, try to mix in some more mainstream things, and see where that goes. Anywho, thanks for listening. I had to vent a little. Thanks, guys, for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now. Love you all. Bye-bye.